Zach Fremantle with 3 fouls in this game, 2 of them in the first about 3 minutes of action. And then he picked up what was classified as a Class A technical foul, a verbal tech, after he scored when he came back into the game with those 2 fouls. Got teed up for whatever he said. Here he is on the first possession of the second half, gets the foul and the bucket. 9 seconds into the second half, and Xavier already on the scoreboard. Cut it to 1.
So Zach Fremantle played 4 minutes in the first half. Musketeers went into that break down 4. Here he comes out reestablishing himself quite quickly. So I think for Travis Steele, if you look at that number, hey, we went toe-to-toe here with Toledo, trailed most of the way. And Zach Fremantle only played 4 minutes. I think he'd be okay with that. And here's Marion Jackson. Musketeers did a nice job on him. 7 points so far. He's 1 of 7, but he got to the line 4 times and converted each time.
Jackson going down in the corner. Littleson hesitated, thought about a 3. Carter now out on Jackson. And Carter creates the travel. There's that defense I was talking about with Jason Carter, Mike.
Well, remember, too, that Carter transferred here from Ohio University in the MAC, so he played against Marion Jackson. He's going to know a little bit and remember a little bit about what Marion Jackson can produce. Got out there and did a nice job to create that turnover.
DeJuan Odom outside, 4 points for the freshman there. Underneath, Fremantle now. Working against Milner Jr. Now double teamed in the post. Fremantle fights through it, looking for the rebound, but can't come up with it. Milner Jr. back the other way.
Zach Fremantle going back down, looking for the foul. Looking back at the official going, can I get a little bit of help here on this contact?
Jackson hesitating now down the left side of the lane. Uses his body to create space under control with the left hand, and Jackson showing off a little flair there to extend the lead to 3.
It's great veteran recognition, Paul. So he's known to be the sharpshooter, the in-the-gym shooter. Now he's going inside to create for himself, and it's working out so far for Toledo.
Xavier being aggressive here in this second half, not settling for jump shots. They're going right at the rim. That foul called on the floor. Paul Scruggs drawing the contact.
There you're going to look at Scruggs just getting tripped up there.
Fremantle outside. He can hit the 3, but off with that one.
Nice job by Carter to gain the position on the taller Kamagoon.
Odom off the left side. Didn't even draw iron.
Yeah, that one heavy, Paul.
Marion Jackson flips it into the corner. Milner Jr. Now Jackson again for 3. Over Fremantle. And the lead back to 6 with 18 minutes left.
All right, last 2 possessions. You just saw the full portfolio there from Marion Jackson. So he steps out for 3. Drove it in on the previous possession. And a huge answer there for Odom as he found the lane and went right after it.
How about that crossover? Getting the defender off his feet, going to the lane with the left hand. High post here for Kamagoon. Hands it off to Jackson. Fremantle switches on to him. Jackson again to the left side of the lane, again with the left hand, but a different result this time as he was off the mark. Scramble for the basketball. Johnson comes away with it for the Musketeers, and here's Scruggs.
Well, that time Jackson got pushed out and then just had to throw it up. A little bit of a prayer there.
Odom. Now Carter. Had it poked away by Rollins, but it'll stay with the Musketeers.
So Rollins with 14 points for Toledo, now doing it defensively and advanced for a freshman here in just his 3rd game as a Toledo Rocket.
Tandy to Carter for 3. He can't find the bottom of the net. Xavier now 2 for 10 from beyond the arc. Carter trying to go straight up, frustrated with that foul call.
That's the same call they made on Kamagoon for Toledo in the first half. So again, once you leave your feet, you are more likely to get called for the foul than if you stayed there. But the unfortunate part of that is you saw Milner lose the handle on the basketball when he was going up. Maybe that's what Carter was talking about. He said, hey, you didn't even have the ball. How can he be shooting?
Milner Jr. off with the first. Top 40 JUCO recruit out of Northwest Florida State. He spent his freshman year at Cleveland State, where he started all 27 games that he played in. Had high hopes for him, and coaching staff says he's been even better than they've anticipated what they've gotten out of him here so far at Toledo. Lead back out to 5 for the Rockets. It's where it's hovered for the last about 7 minutes of game action. Fremantle on the low post, loses the basketball. Littleson with the strip.
Paul triple team down there. You got to throw out of that. Zach Fremantle should know better now in his sophomore year.
Rollins looking against Carter. Jabs right, puts the ball on the deck. Carter creating the turnover. Now it's Johnson. He'll reset. Nearly stolen away by Rollins again. Scruggs. It's that switch to Littleson. Now here's Carter. But Scruggs will just take the three. Long rebound back to Scruggs. In the pink, Johnson. Tough sledding right now for Xavier.
Had trouble there with the size of Kamagum at 6'9". Toledo is absolutely just packing it down to that baseline and saying, all right, Xavier, you want to drive it in here? We're going to force you to our 6th defender there on the line. Wide open shot here. That's going down. That's what Toledo did so well against Oakland yesterday, that reverse pass. And look at Paul Scruggs a little frustrated going, why aren't we rotating over there to catch that?
Seth Milner Jr. left wide open after a miscommunication from Xavier. And Toledo answers that Xavier run. Lead back out to 8. Juan Odom with his left hand. Odom with 6 points today for Xavier. The home team trailing by 8.
Milner's got 11 rebounds.
Point away from a double.
Sure.
Back here at the Cintas Center, Paul Fritschner and Mike Schmaltz with you. Toledo out to an 8-point lead right now. Seth Milner Jr. for the Rockets. Mike 1 point shy of a double-double with 9 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, that 11 rebounds is a career best, and Toledo not to an efficient start here in the second half. 3 of 4 from the floor, 2 of 2 from behind the arc. Musketeers haven't scored in the last 2:25. They're 1 for their last 7. 25% from the floor, 2 for 8.
It's Tandy, Fremantle, Griffin, Johnson, and Scruggs on the court for the Musketeers out of this timeout. Griffin underneath, had a great first half. There's his first points of the second half. Lead down to 6 for the Rockets.
Memo to Travis Steele, feed Griffin inside. He had the energy early when Fremantle went out at the 4-minute mark. Let Griffin establish himself here in the second half.
Foul at the top of the key. Brian Griffin, he knows it, puts his hand up. That's on me, coach.
Self-awareness always important, and now that was a good lane on the drive there for Keyshawn Saunders, so he was probably going to either score it or get that close.
And we'll head to another break. Xavier inching their way into this one, but trailing by 7, and Toledo trying to maintain control as you see the stats there on your screen. 21 bench points for the Musketeers, trying to use that depth that they have, but Musketeers also missing a couple of key players that they were expecting to count on due to COVID protocols. CJ Wilcher and Colby Jones not available for likely the first couple weeks of the season. Xavier announcing that the other day, and Xavier, have to imagine they would be appreciating their services right now, even more depth off that bench.
Absolutely, and you know they wanted to count on that, but the nice news for the Musketeers is you've got a Paul Scruggs out there. You've got Zach Fremantle as a sophomore who played significant minutes. You've got Carter, the grad transfer. So there's plenty of experience there to carry the load here for the Musketeers. Paul, the thing I'm looking at here is defensive rebounds. Toledo with 21 and Xavier with 19, but the Rockets really making it difficult for the Musketeers inside. Xavier's found some lanes here in the last couple of possessions, especially with Brian Griffin there on the block with 8 points. So he's 3 of 6. We'll see if Travis Steele might go big at some point during this second half to try to exploit some shots down low. Points in the paint, a lead also for Toledo, 16 there. So they've been effective.
Xavier trailing by 6 as we get into the middle portion of this second half. And Toledo is really just locking down defensively after Xavier scored over 100 points, had 103 in the season opener against Oakland. Scored 51 yesterday. Had less points in the entire game yesterday, did the Musketeers, than they had in the first half against Oakland. Xavier scored 53 in that first half against Oakland. Scored 51 for the entire game yesterday.
Yeah, Oakland's in an evolving process, and 11 practices early, had a 21-day pause, and then 4 practices before it was able to get here to start this invitational. So they've got a lot of growth to do, and that had a lot to do with that margin. But Musketeers saw a lot of zone in that Oakland game, and they're seeing it here again today.
Marion Jackson out of this timeout for Toledo. Puts his head down, uses the basketball briefly. Xavier, Paul Scruggs knocking it away. Only 3 on the shot clock for the Rockets. We'll see what they do here from the sideline.
Great defensive combination there with Odom and Paul Scruggs. And we've seen Scruggs get scrappy. He's got the length for a point guard, able to tip a lot of balls away.
Amagoon, a long 3 off the front of the rim for Saunders.
Nice job by the Musketeers to force Saunders so far out as the shot clock expired.
Tandy, he'll try a 3. And Xavier, appreciate that one. Lead down to 3. Tandy, the team's leading scorer now with 14.
All right, Paul, there's quick shots for the sake of quick shots, but there's quick shots when that was a good look, and Tandy had a good look, had a lot of room there, was able to set himself and knock down that 3, so a good choice.
And Fremantle put out on defense, swatting that one into the first row of the stands.
Well, there's that extra boost of athleticism you see from Zach Fremantle. A lot of times, the bigs can't move that quickly. Fremantle, quick jump came over the top of that one. Saw that all the way.
Jackson inbounding on the baseline to Littleson. Ran a great play to get him open.
Good look there, just came all the way around the top of the key, got the screen, a little dump off, and Littleson with a big 2.
Had 24 points yesterday and didn't have a single point from inside the arc. Here's Johnson answering for three.
Another good look there, but again, early in the shot clock, but Xavier's starting to gain that confidence now.
First points of the afternoon for Nate Johnson. Littleson. Motion offense around the top of the key for Toledo. Fading away a floater. But bailed out on the foul call. That'll go against Kiki Tandy. That's his first foul. There's a tough look falling away from the bucket for Keyshawn Saunders.
Toledo continuing to be aggressive, trying to draw the contact. And they are 10 of 13 from the line, so a good free throw shooting team. And if they can kind of pick their way down the stretch here with opportunities at the free throw line, two things will happen. One, they'll stop the clock. That'll allow them to keep some energy, keep their legs a little bit fresh, maybe substitute. And then you got to convert.
That's the first. Here's the second. That one's good. 3-point lead again for Toledo. Up the court comes DeJuan Odom, and the Xavier team can tie it with a three. Tandy into the corner, Scruggs, but there was a foul.
Good burst there by Kiki Tandy. And that one caught Saunders off guard. Saunders picks up that foul on the floor.
Yeah, his second foul. Nobody in foul trouble. Nobody has more than two for Toledo.
Both teams with three, so not in danger of shooting yet here as we're nearing the 13-minute mark here in a second.
Odom outside, Fremantle. Round and out.
All right, ball, so the Musketeers hit back-to-back threes on possessions, and then Fremantle launches one. Capable. Maybe getting a little too attracted to that long-range shot. Good turnover here.
Deflection for Johnson, 2-on-1 for the Musketeers. Leaving it up for Fremantle.
Flush it in transition. Zach Fremantle to bring the Musketeers within one. Now they're going to call maybe hanging on the rim. That's another technical for Fremantle.
That's the
his second one.
That's the second technical on Zach Fremantle. And his day is over. Hanging on the rim, he pulled up and he slapped the backboard.
Yeah, by rule, Paul, probably a good call. A little bit of extra, especially with the backboard slap. And you wonder that early verbal exchange he had on the first basket that drew the first technical, if that was in the back of the official's mind there when Fremantle went up. So there's letter of the law, spirit of the law there.
Yep.
I'm more of a spirit of the law guy in that particular exchange. You got to let the man play with a little bit of emotion. So a tough day for Zach Fremantle, and Xavier down a key piece here, facing a 2-point deficit.
Yeah, how does Xavier respond now? His second technical of the day means his afternoon is over. And Fremantle, maybe been Xavier's best player so far, will have to sit on the bench. A 2-point lead after the technical free throws. Xavier gets the ball back and foul on the Rockets.
Reaching foul there on Marenka as Carter came over the top to try to create that turnover. And how about the experience there of Marion Jackson going over to Marenka and saying, hey, here's how you do that the right way.
Odom from the elbow outside Carter. He can hit that too. And he gets the friendly roll, and Xavier has the lead at 52-51.
That ball landed on the brace, stuck, and fell in.
Xavier finally with the lead back by one. Can they hold on? Here's Jackson. Elbow jumper, and Toledo answers. Seth Milner Jr. Back and forth we go at the Cintas Center.
Great poise there by a veteran Toledo team. Okay, we're facing a little bit of adversity. We're on the road. A lot of times you see that quick shot go up, but Milner went right in there and found a nice mid-range.
Tandy off the mark. That ball deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Musketeers out of the timeout, but we are not going to go to commercial here at this timeout. We're going to stay right here on the court. And Mike, want to take a second. Paul Fritschner on this call with you with Mike Schmaltz, and want to take a second to give some appreciation to the Cintas Center crew, Chris Schaff, Dave Overbeck, the rest of the crew, too many to name, but the rest of the Xavier Media crew, everybody that made this broadcast possible. We got the call with about 10 minutes to airtime that the FS1 crew was not going to be available to do the game today. There was confirmation of that with about 10 minutes to go, that there were obviously some rights issues with Fox Sports that had to be overcome. Could Xavier stream this game? Could we make it available to the fans? Those issues got worked out, and with about 6 minutes left on the game clock, we were given the green light to go ahead and make this game happen. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in so far and enjoyed the game. Xavier trailing by 1. It's been a tough sledding game for the Musketeers, but from our end, huge kudos to this production crew and everybody that has made this game possible for everyone watching.
Yeah, so welcome aboard, Xavier Nation, and interesting scenario here. So you arrive and you see the Fox crew out on the loading dock kind of milling around. The announcing team was there, but weren't in the building. So you're about an hour before. Usually you're up at your spot, you're collecting your notes, you're thinking about what you're going to run through there on the open. So a little bit different. And then you get over to the scoring table and the broadcast table, and they're starting to pull the monitors. And the tech there said, hey, broadcast is canceled. So, you know, you hang around, and sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, and here we are. But another tight one here for the Musketeers after breezing away from Oakland in that opening round. Xavier tested yesterday by Bradley, and really, if 2 free throws go in or 1 free throw, we probably go to overtime. There's, maybe a couple seconds left with Bradley at the foul line. They missed that. Xavier got a rebound and got out of that scenario with a victory. And
Terry Nolan Jr., the hero in game 1 for Bradley, and nearly the hero yesterday, hitting a 3 in the waning seconds, but DeJuan Odom, the answer for the Musketeers. Nolan Jr. could not finish it off at the line. Had a 1-and-1, could have tied the game, could have given Bradley the lead, but missed the front end. Mike, we reset here. 5 team fouls for the Rockets, 3 for Xavier, 3 timeouts left for Toledo, 2 for the Musketeers. Xavier basketball out of the timeout. Musketeers trailing by 1 with 11:40 left. Johnson through traffic has it stolen away. The pass intercepted by Jackson. Jackson from 3.
Yeah, Jackson felt that.
Johnson spinning through the lane with a left hand. No, but he gets his own board. That was Odom, excuse me. Tandy now, up and under. Can't get that shot to fall, but he'll have to earn it from the charity stripe. That was Odom. Spinning down through the lane, a talented freshman. Xavier really liking the career that DeJuan Odom would likely have in his Musketeer uniform. Highly touted freshman.
Kiki Tandy for the season comes up with his first free throw attempt.
Misses the first.
Now Milner coming back on here for Toledo. Milner has 11 on 3 of 6. Rollins with 14. Jackson with 13 for Toledo. Tandy leading the Musketeers with 14, trying to make it 15. He will, and we're tied.
All tied at 53. 11 minutes and change remaining. Jackson with 13 points. 3 Rockets in double figures. Rollins with 14, Jackson with 13, Milner Jr. with 11. Akunzo. Outside Jackson, going to the right, drives through the lane, has it rejected by Odom. There he is again. The lob underneath, but it's deflected away. That one didn't have much of a chance. It was way off to the left. Odom had to go back for it. Xavier lucky to retain possession.
It's a great job there by Carter defensively on that last Toledo possession. Just got enough space between himself and Littleson there to deny that pass. There was nowhere to go with that pass once he got in the air.
Here's Odom, straight away for Carter. Johnson, step back 3, no. Milner Jr. corrals it. Look to push. Now he'll pull up. Driving the baseline goes Milner Jr. And might have gotten away with some steps.
Absolutely did. Xavier gave up on the play, thought it was going to be a travel call, and allowed an easy second chance bucket there for Milner.
Xavier not happy with the officiating today, and at points I think they have a right to be a little frustrated. Underneath the kick out, Scruggs to Carter. One more rotation to Tandy, but his feet were on the sideline, and now Toledo gets the ball back with a 2-point lead.
Solid closeout defensively there for Littleson on the wing as he got up and made Tandy take that extra step. Toledo continuing to make it tough for the Musketeers inside. Xavier committing now to driving more, trying to gain that high percentage shot. Toledo has been solid defensively, especially on the baseline.
Looking back at that call underneath on that last bucket for Toledo, I'm not really sure how they missed that one. Pretty obvious travel underneath the hoop. Toledo got the benefit of the doubt. Scored the bucket, gave themselves a 2-point lead.
Toledo's led in this game 28 minutes, 16 seconds. Xavier's held the lead for 22 seconds.
Rollins up and under. Nearly got that one to fall. Hit on the head.
Some more solid creation inside for Rollins, working on a 14-point afternoon.
A quick correction there. Zach Fremantle is back in the game. Thought on that last one that he was issued his second technical of the game, but we'll have to get some clarification on that one. They may have corrected the call. We're seeing here in the score sheet, it looks like they removed that tech from Fremantle.
So clearly my point about spirit of the law, well taken.
Yeah, very strange set of circumstances there as Fremantle is back in the game, and the score sheet online has changed the technical call to allow Fremantle back in this game. 3-ball off the mark for Xavier. Scramble for it, Tandy down on the court. Finds Johnson, Xavier keeps it, gets a new shot clock. Fremantle. And the foul against Toledo. And again, as I said in the first half, we're not down there on the floor. We're up here on the concourse level looking down on the floor in the midsection here of the Cintas Center Bowl. We can't get clarification from up here on that. There must have been some discussion amidst the referees.
Well, that is part of the protocol. You are allowed to go back and review. I think it's up to 10 minutes or so of game time. I don't know if you can request a review like in the NFL, if Travis Steele or somebody from the staff can go over and say, hey, take another look at that.
And there's a foul off the missed free throw on Fremantle. That's his fourth. A bizarre afternoon for Zach Fremantle.
So just when you think you're out, they draw you right back in. So Fremantle having a up and down day here.
The official scorer has changed that technical foul to a team technical foul. It was removed from Fremantle. And that's what allowed Fremantle back in this game. The officiating there, bit of a question, but Fremantle with 4 fouls can return. Xavier trailing by 3. And then a foul on Paul Scruggs. Ryan Rollins dove toward the basket.
Scruggs there with a little bit extra with the hip. Scruggs is trying to argue that, hey, Ryan Rollins hooked me when he was going around. Didn't really see that, but Rollins definitely had some momentum heading toward the floor, and Scruggs helped him out. Double dribble.
Got some clarification here. Twitter, Mike, never fails
The magic of Twitter
to come through. Brian Snow tweeting in, there is a difference between a Class A and a Class B technical. We were not given which one up here Fremantle was issued. We knew we got that Class A in the beginning, but because Fremantle has both a Class A and a Class B, it means that he can stay in the game. So thanks to Brian for clarifying that one. Xavier with Fremantle's services the rest of the game, although, again, he does have 4 fouls. So he sits on the bench now with 8:24 left, and Tandy to the line.
He's 3 of 5 there so far today. And now 4 of 6. So Tandy now with 16. Fremantle with 9 in the limited minutes, 8 for Griffin. Kiki Tandy poised at the free throw line to bring the Musketeers within 1.
On the wing for Rollins. Littleson kicks it out. Here's Milner Jr. In front of the rim, no, and Johnson skies in for the board.
Jason Carter did a great job defensively on that possession for the Musketeers. They were trying to roll Kamagoon down to the right block, and Carter was all over that, cut off that look.
Odom rising up off the back of the rim, goes straight up and straight down, and now Xavier with the lead again at 57-56.
That's just the 3rd lead change today.
Toledo has led for over 30 minutes in this game. Xavier has only led for 30 seconds. But a jump ball, effort play, they'll stay with Toledo, but Xavier showing signs of life. Up by 1 with 7:30 left.
Musketeers starting to pick up the energy. Odom finding a lane, slashing, back iron in. Musketeers up 1.
Let's say you're someone like Hannah, bright, resourceful, ready to go. You check out fill-in-the-blank State University, and you feel, well, a little lost. Then you reverse course. You visit that small college your uncle went to, but now you're stuck in neutral wondering if maybe they don't have the majors, internships, research, facilities, and activities that you're sort of expecting. And then you check out Toledo. You meet an advisor, and he tells you about the experience and mentorship you'll find right here at the University of Toledo.
Back here at the Cintas Center, Xavier with a 1-point lead. There's been 3 lead changes in this game. They led at 52-51. They now lead at 57-56. You see the stat reset there on your screen. Xavier with 11 points off of turnovers. The paint fairly even at 24-20. Little advantage there for Xavier. Musketeers have assisted on 15 of their 22 field goals.
All right, Xavier now down just 2 in defensive rebounds. And how are we going to get back into that one? Defensive energy. Paul Scruggs, 2 great plays, 1 to tie up the basketball, and now the steal here.
Expand on that lead. Down the lane, and a blocking foul on Littleson. Foul on the floor, but Xavier is in the bonus.
That's a 19 foul for Toledo. So now, see how committed the Musketeers are to driving it inside, trying to gain some three-point opportunities the old-fashioned way, and or opportunities at the free throw line. Xavier came into today just 15% from the line for the season, though. So a chance to tune up that end of the operation.
Scruggs a little short on the front end. Jackson and this Rockets team, a little uneasy here over the last 3 minutes. Have 3 turnovers, haven't scored in the last 2.5. Foul outside on Kiki Tandy. Touch foul, his second.
Yeah, Tandy was on the backside of the defender there, so we didn't get a good look at that contact, but official quickly whistled in on the far sideline. So here's Keyshawn Saunders at the free throw line. He's 1 of 2 this afternoon.
Saunders makes the first. Would be remiss, Mike, without mentioning the story on the Toledo bench for the Toledo Rockets. Their associate head coach, Jeff Massey, former standout guard for the Musketeers. Graduated from Xavier in 1995. Guided Xavier to the 1994 NIT quarterfinals. Also played under Skip Prosser. Down the lane, Paul Scruggs with the left hand. Xavier flip-flops this lead back in their favor.
Well, there's my offensive patience, Paul. So spread the floor, give your athletes a chance to make some plays. Veteran move there for Paul Scruggs. Musketeers with awesome spacing to give Scruggs that opportunity.
Floater off the mark.
Toledo committed there to getting back in transition defense. Didn't even go after that rebound.
Scruggs spinning away, creating space, and the senior leader poised, calm, cool, and collected for Paul Scruggs. Xavier stretches the lead to 3 with 6 minutes left.
He hasn't looked that comfortable all day. If you're going to get comfortable now in the closing minutes. Good look inside. Toledo able to answer.
Seth Milner Jr. ties for the team lead. 15 points for him. Tandy almost making something out of nothing there, and in transition back the other way. Unable to get that one to go. Keyshawn Saunders, left-handed layup contested at the hoop. Here's Scruggs again.
Great hustle down there by Odom to deny that at the basket.
Scruggs has the mismatch. There's Odom, the floater, no.
Great look there for Odom, just a little too strong. Can't argue with that shot selection.
Marion Jackson. Right away for Kamagoon. Milner Jr. 3 on the shot clock. Jackson for 3. Contested shot. Xavier will bring it up the right side of the court.
Signature defensive effort there by the Musketeers. Carter.
Jason Carter had a tough go of it for him today shooting. Only 5 points, but he has 13 rebounds to lead the team. Marion Jackson kicking it into the corner. Pass deflected. Scruggs scrambling for it. It went on the sideline. It'll stay with the Rockets.
Jackson trying to force his way through traffic, and he may be trying to do a little too much here for the Rockets. Saw that a little bit in the first half as well. He got into trouble down there and just lofted it over to the sideline, hoping somebody was there to pick that up. Got lucky. It's Toledo able to maintain possession here now, 13 to shoot.
Rollins outside, he'll take a 3. And Ryan Rollins, the team leading 18 points. 3 for 3 from downtown.
Fantastic look there off the screen from Milner Jr. Quick set, quick trigger, good.
Fremantle, an air ball trying to answer. And at the under 4 timeout, Xavier trailing by 2. Fremantle with those 4 fouls. A little frustrated with his play today. Been choppy because of those fouls, but Mike looking for it here. Paul Scruggs getting Saunders shimmy off. Little stat recap here for the Musketeers, only shooting 25% from the 3. 5 for 20. 61% from the line, 8 for 13. It was crunch time yesterday for the Musketeers. Xavier was able to come away with the win. And Mike, what do we see here in the final 3:55?
I think Xavier committing to hopefully stay inside. Now, Zach Fremantle came back into the game. Once he played maybe about 10, 11 minutes so far today, his first shot was a 3. We don't want that from Zach Fremantle just coming into the game. Get yourself back into the flow. Get a little sweat build up before you go launch the long shot. Get your energy back. Get your energy up to playing level. And I think if Xavier can commit to staying inside, going in there, trying to create some opportunities on the baseline, it's been tough for them down there. They're either going to draw the contact to be able to convert from the free throw line or, again, come up with opportunities for three-point plays. For Toledo, the spacing's been pretty good, but Xavier's now been able to clog the passing lanes on the last couple of possessions. We just saw Marion Jackson throw one over to the sideline, a little bit of a desperation when he was in traffic. So we'll see if Toledo can rely on its veteran presence with a little better ball movement. We saw some great ball movement early in the first half that opened up some threes on the wings, and the Musketeers were unable to over-rotate and get out there and contest those threes. We'll see if Toledo gets back to that.
Foul trouble for both teams is negligible. Littleson with 4 fouls after a 24-point performance yesterday for the Rockets. He only has 4 points today. Zach Fremantle, he started the season, Mike, 4 for 6 from 3. Can definitely fill it up from deep, but he's 0 for 3 today with 4 fouls, including that 1 technical.
And again, he hasn't had a whole lot of chance to build the rhythm.
Toledo basketball out of the timeout. Xavier trailing by 2 with 3:55 left.
That was our last media timeout, Paul. So Toledo with 3 timeouts remaining. Xavier with 2. Both teams will be at the free throw line on fouls.
Marion Jackson to Rollins, and lethal from 3. Jackson dishing it off underneath. Unable to finish was Kamagoon.
Beautiful vision inside there for Jackson, and didn't get help from Kamagoon on the layup. Get a good look there at Marion Jackson.
Kamagoon, the only Rocket on the court right now that has not scored. Baseline, finding Tandy for 3. Yes, sir. Kiki Tandy, the lead for Xavier.
Big time look, and that was a drive to the baseline. That's a signature Xavier set. Swing it over into the corner. Tandy with plenty of room, plenty of time to set up and drill that one.
Jackson outside with Odom on him down the lane, and Odom swats it away. Odom fired up there, using the left hand to send that one back to where the Xavier band would normally be.
We've seen his athleticism throughout these 2 games. A couple of breakaway jams, and now a big sweeper on the baseline on the best score for Toledo.
Defend without fouling. Rollins again contested, and there is the foul this time from Nate Johnson. That's his 2nd foul.
So Toledo now playing to the drive. 75% from the line today, 15 of 20. So they're confident they can go and convert some of these opportunities.
Friendly roll for Ryan Rollins. Has 18 points. Make it 19 now after the free throw. And there's 20 to lead this team. Kiki Tandy on the other side for Xavier. 20 points for Tandy on 6 for 16 shooting. Odom outside. Here's Fremantle for 3. Off the right side of the rim. Scramble for the rebound. Tandy again. Odom, kick out, Scruggs. Trying to navigate through the pressure, Scruggs underneath. The reverse for two. Back and forth we go.
Scruggs able to use his length there. Spencer Littleson was left all alone on the baseline there to try to guard him. Littleson's in there at 6'4", but Scruggs, a better athlete again with that long range, able just to lay that in.
A jump ball, I believe the possession arrow favors the Musketeers. It does. And Scruggs a little slow to get up, but that's Ryan Rollins on the court for Toledo on that collision.
And that's a big time loss here if Ryan Rollins can't continue. He is having a tremendous day. A 20-point effort now, 7 of 14.
Right there in front of you guys. Go the other way. White ball.
Everybody flying to the floor after that loose ball, and Rollins picked up a little extra contact there. So training staff out to attend to him as he lies face down there near midcourt.
66-65, a 1-point Xavier lead. There have been 9 lead changes in this game. Toledo has led for 31 and a half minutes. Xavier has led for only 4:17.
They're going to give Rollins every opportunity here to collect himself, but they're going to turn him over, and always precautionary here.
Xavier's training staff, a fluker out there as well. Rollins leading this team with 20 points, 3 for 3 from 3, 3 for 5 from the free throw line, 7 for 14 overall from the field, has 5 rebounds, and has been a star for Toledo this afternoon. As you can see here on the replay, Rollins going in and might have caught that left foot on the collision. Believe that was DeJuan Odom. Rollins dove for it. Now he's sitting up. You can see the left side of his head getting some attention.
Yeah, that's just some solid contact there in a run of play. Rollins got the worst end of that. Look, he's pretty shaken up. You see a little redness above the eye, on the forehead there. And it's the first concern, one, in those situations, neck injury. Second, the concussion protocol, and it's been so well attended to here in recent years, such a concentration on that they err on the side of caution. They don't move anybody until they're sure it's not heavy damage. So you look there, and he's already got a bruise on one side of the forehead and a little bit of floor burn on the other. A great effort there to get after that loose ball. But Rollins going to sit now with 20 points. A tough break for Toledo now, who steps into that role as Toledo gets down here to the final 2.
Just over 2 minutes remaining. Odom, left side of the lane, corner. Johnson faked it. Got him some space, a floater way short. Poked away, but it'll go to Toledo. Amagoon.
All right, good look there again for the Musketeers, and again driving inside, creating in the lane, just comes up short.
Now here's Marion Jackson and this Toledo team. They've had the lead for over 31 minutes in this game, but they do not lead right now. What can they cook up on this possession? It's Jackson to the lane, and he doesn't get that friendly roll that has been friendly to Toledo today. Jackson, the senior leader on this team, trying to will this Rocket squad to a win. Xavier trying to fend them off. It's Tandy down the lane, and the game's leading scorer adds to his total. 22 now for the sophomore.
Patience and vision there for Kiki Tandy as he saw the lane, knew he had a good opportunity, kept himself under control, lays it in, and the Musketeers now with a 3-point advantage. Timeout here for Toledo.
Todd Kowalczyk calls a full timeout. The Rockets have to talk it over as Mike Tandy right down the lane.
Kiki Tandy, drive, deliver. Musketeers by 3.
at the Cintas Center. Xavier with a 3-point edge right now. Toledo with the basketball. That was a Toledo timeout. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Xavier in the double bonus will shoot 2 free throws the rest of the way. Toledo in the bonus. Drive to the hoop. Fremantle with those 4 fouls secures the board. And now Xavier content to take some time.
Sometimes that's all you need, Paul. Just enough physical presence inside to throw off the shot. Now Travis Steele going to take a timeout here to reset the Musketeers.
30.
Good call. Musketeers will have 1 left. Toledo will have 2 left to call.
30-second timeout for the Musketeers. We saw yesterday in crunch time it was DeJuan Odom. Took maybe a ill-advised shot on the possession before his game-saving, game-winning layup drive with less than 5 seconds left.
So 3 games into this season for both teams, and they've both been in this situation already here in the last 3 days, both against the Bradley Braves. Toledo nipped at the end on a layup, and the Musketeers hang on yesterday.
Career high 22 points for Kiki Tandy. Tied his career high 2 days ago against Oakland with 18. Has shattered that here with 22 against Toledo.
Paul Scruggs today with 7 assists for the Musketeers, standing out on the scoring sheet. He's got 11, 5 and 9, so a fairly efficient day for him. And again, Scruggs has not looked all that comfortable at times this afternoon.
Xavier gets it in. 15 on the shot clock.
So Toledo now committed straight up man, and they're pushing. Xavier spreads the floor here for Tandy.
Tandy. They'll go to the line for 2. Fouled on that shot.
So Toledo now knows that Xavier's going to give the ball to Kiki Tandy in crunch time.
Marion
So the way
Jackson.
they ended the end of the first half, and then they come back here. Musketeers need a bucket here to extend, and Tandy's going to be their guy.
Here comes the first free throw from Tandy. And it's good. Marion Jackson, his 3rd foul. 61 seconds left. Tandy gets them both. 2 huge free throws from the sophomore. Xavier fans on their feet now at the Cintas Center. A 6-0 run for the Musketeers to propel them to this 5-point lead. Toledo 0 for their last 4 from the field, 1 for their last 7. Have not scored from the field in almost 3.5 minutes. Down the lane and a foul. We'll send Milner Jr. to the line. Paul Scruggs picking up his 4th foul.
All right, so let's turn it into a free throw contest on both sides. Toledo's going to give the ball to Milner. He's 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Jackson's 5 of 5 at the stripe for Toledo. Tandy on the other end for Xavier, 7 and 9. So if those have the ball, either of those 3 players have the ball, you're going to make the choice to foul. You got to expect that they're going to be able to deliver. So you want to foul judiciously.
First one good for Milner Jr. Has 16 points now, Mike, to go along with 15 rebounds, a double-double for the junior. Down to a 1-possession game after the free throws. Full court pressure from the Rockets.
So we saw a little full court yesterday from Toledo, but right at the end of the game. Now 3rd game in 3 days. How much energy does Toledo have to expend here on this defensive stand?
No need to foul if you're the Rockets. 1-possession game, plenty of time on the clock. Scruggs, the senior, going to work on Kamagoom. Fading away, and the senior does what the senior needs to do in that situation. Stretch it out to a 2-possession lead.
Shot clock off. Toledo has 2 timeouts. They're going to take
Timeout
one there.
taken.
Oh, and Jackson hit the 3. So that shot went off after the whistle. Todd Kowalczyk called the timeout, and sort of bite your tongue there if you're a Toledo Rockets fan, because Jackson laced that up. How about Paul Scruggs? Little step back, soft touch off the rim. Musketeers up 5.
Yeah, Scruggs knew that he had the mismatch there, could get Kamagoom off his feet. Went one way, backed them down, then faded away for 2, and Scruggs now up to 13, one of 2 Musketeers in double figures. Tandy leading the way with 24, but Scruggs with 13 to go along with 6 rebounds and 7 assists.
There's a difference as well between Kamagoom and Zach Fremantle. Zach Fremantle probably out quicker on that shot on Paul Scruggs if he's defending a Toledo shooter. Kamagoom, while he's got the length, he's got the ability, just doesn't have that first quick step. Scruggs recognized that, able to keep himself under control and knock down that big bucket.
"20 seconds to go. Saunders outside. Toledo's got to go quick. They're down by 5. Here's a long 3 from Jackson, and he hits. Hit that one before the timeout, but it was waved off because of the timeout. Now brings the Rockets within 2. Throw across the court. There's 6 seconds left, and a foul. Scruggs will go to the line. A lot of time came off the clock there.
Well, full court pressure there for Toledo, and they had Johnson in trouble down there in the corner, so you didn't want to foul right away. You want to see if you could force Johnson into making that turnover. Johnson able to throw out of it, and then Toledo fouls at midcourt. But you found Paul Scruggs, which is not a bad choice. 0 for 2 from the line today.
Scruggs with a chance to stretch it to a 2-possession lead. He makes the first.
Scruggs for the season was 50% to start the day at the line, 4 of 8.
5.7 to go. Scruggs hits the second.
4 big points from Paul Scruggs here in the closing moments. Xavier relying on its senior to make some plays, and he's delivering.
And Mike, this is Xavier's largest lead. 4 points for Xavier.
Musketeers have led for 6 minutes and 34 seconds today. 9 lead changes so far between these two teams. 4 ties, but still 5.7 to go.
Xavier's largest lead at 5, 1 short of that here, but Toledo on the other side at one point in the first half led by 12, Mike.
Lots of Musketeers coming out of the gate struggling from the floor. Xavier's cleaned that up here in the second half.
4 fouls each on Fremantle and Scruggs. 4 fouls for Toledo on Littleson and Kamagoom. Saunders with 2, Jackson with 3. 5.7 left. Toledo has to go fast. Inbound to Jackson. To midcourt, he'll take the 3, and he banks it home. It's a 1-point game with 1.2 left.
Musketeers have the timeout.
Xavier gets it in, and Johnson fouled with 0.7 left.
Smart foul there for the Rockets. Johnson hasn't been to the free throw line yet in this game. And he hasn't made a free throw attempt through the 3 games here so far this season. So here's the test. 0.7 seconds. That look familiar? We've seen it 3 times so far in this Xavier Invitational. Been some great competition throughout.
First free throw, good for Johnson. Steps to the line like he's been there 30 times today on his first attempt. And here's his second. Makes it a 3-point game. 0.7 of a second remaining. Inbound, it's poked away, and Xavier wins it 73-70. They start the season 3-0.
Solid job by the Musketeers down the stretch. Able to make some nice decisions, able to find their playmakers. Give it to the veterans, let them bring you home, and Paul Scruggs delivered for the Musketeers in the final moments. Huge day for Kiki Tandy. 24 points on 7 of 17, 7 of 9 at the line, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Scruggs with 15. Musketeers ended the day shooting 43% from the floor, and they ward off a pretty good, talented Toledo team. 3 in double figures for them. 20 for Rollins, 19 for Jackson, 17 for Milner.
Kiki Tandy, 24 points. Paul Scruggs, 15. But for our entire crew here at the Cintas Center, Chris Schaff, Dave Overbeck in the production room, and everybody else that made this broadcast possible, that's Mike Schmaltz to my left. I'm Paul Fritschner saying so long Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Xavier comes away with a 76-73 victory and moves to 3-0 on the season. So long, everybody.